Okay, this is Fred Pieplow. I'm with the Great Lakes Entrepreneurs Quest, and today we are having a chat with Carrie Jones of the Michigan Venture Capital Association, and she's going to tell us all about what the Venture Capital Association is and what she does there. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Fred. Thanks so much for having me join you today. This is really fun.
It is fun, new technologies, and you are actually in New York and chatting with us. I was expecting to talk to you from Ann Arbor, but with the magic of the internet, here we are.
I know. You know, it fell during my vacation week, but I'm always, you know, there's when you do work you love, you don't really need a vacation. So I'm always happy to talk about what's happening in the venture community in Michigan.
Don't tell your board that.
I try to keep it a secret.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us first a little bit about the Venture Capital Association here in Michigan, and then what you do there.
Sure. The Michigan Venture Capital Association, the MVCA for short, is it's a trade association that brings together investors from the venture capital community, angels, and others to talk about, to network together and to share information and talk about all of the things that are going on within the venture capital community in Michigan. So it's we've got over 100 members, and we're growing about 15% annually, which is really exciting.
That is exciting. And when you say by growing, new members, new venture capital companies?
Yep, we've got new members. We've got, you know, as more venture funds are starting up in the state, they join, but also there's a number of folks outside of Michigan that are really seeing the value of what the MVCA does. So we're attracting members from outside of Michigan as well. So we recently did, the Michigan Venture Capital Association recently went to Chicago with the MEDC, and we talked to venture firms there about all of the great things happening in Michigan, and you know, all of the exciting companies and how Michigan is growing. And you know, out of that trip, we've had a lot of folks that are interested in joining our organization because they want to network with the people here on the ground, and they've got an eye on a number of our entrepreneurs, so they really want to be plugged into our ecosystem.
Excellent. And so what do you do? What's your role with the Venture Capital Association?
I'm the executive director, so I work very closely with our board. We're really focused right now on telling the story of what's happening in the venture community in Michigan. So I work with legislators, I work with media, and I work with other folks nationally to make sure that they know that there's so many great things happening in Michigan. So I kind of, it's a two-person operation, but I handle a lot of the, you know, I handle a lot of the programming and handle a lot of the marketing pieces. And you know, with a two-person, as an entrepreneur, you know, it's a small operation, so everybody does a little bit of everything. But I'm really focused on making sure folks know all of the good things that are happening here in Michigan.
Well, and there certainly are a lot of them in the state in general. The economy has certainly picked up, and probably the economy is a little more diverse than it was 10 or 15 years ago, but it's still a lot of automotive focus, and as they've picked up the last few years, the economy in general has picked up. But you guys have a large focus on the bioscience and the new technologies coming out of the universities, I would assume, where a lot of your investment comes from. I know we have a slide on that, so maybe we should just walk through the slides.
Oh, sure, absolutely. We do an annual research report every year, and I think it's probably one of the most valuable things for our membership, where we evaluate everything all of the activity that's happened within the venture community in Michigan. So we just, in May, at the end of May, we released our 2012 report. And in that, we showed that Michigan has jumped from, so I'll just kind of go over some of the key highlights, and then we can kind of dive in a little bit. But in that, we showed that Michigan has jumped nationally from 25th in the country to 15th. So that was it was a 10-point jump, and it was also the largest of any state in the country right now. So we're really excited about that, and we think it shows that there's a lot of momentum in Michigan and a lot of great things happening. One of the other pieces was that one of the pieces from our report showed that $242 million was invested in Michigan in venture capital deals last year, and that was through 33 different companies, and so that was the second highest that we've had in the last 11 years. So that was also really encouraging as well. A couple of just key points. We've got 29 venture firms in Michigan. There are 20 that are headquartered here in the state. There's 9 that have headquarters outside of Michigan but have offices here. Then we also have 3 corporate venture funds and 2 fund-to-funds. So that really, as far as the venture community, it's really active and it's really growing. Right now, the total capital we have under management, including the out-of-state firms, is $3.7 billion. And we had the most successful year for angel investing this past year as well. So there was, we have a number of angel networks throughout the state and a really kind of growing, vibrant angel community. And we had our most successful year, and they invested in 40 companies last year, separate from the VC investments that they did, and invested $12.5 million, which is our highest recorded year ever. So I think that that's really exciting. So the first slide just shows sort of where Michigan has been in the rankings over the last several years. And then the second slide, so then the next slide just shows sort of how Michigan ranks with other Midwest states, because I think that we really see the region as being, we want to make sure that the Midwest is strong. We're not going to compete with California, we're not going to compete directly with Massachusetts, but I think that if we look at our neighbors in the Midwest, we want to make sure we're competitive with them, and then we're also working really hard to create strong relationships between our neighboring states so that we can make the Midwest as strong as possible for venture deals, venture and angel investing. And then it also goes through the number of deals in each state as well. The next slide shows capital under management, so that you can see when we're including the out-of-state firms, we've got $3.7 billion capital under management, and if you just look at the Michigan firms, it's about $1.5 billion, which has stayed consistent over the last couple of years. We've got, if you continue to look, I think one of the things that's really interesting is sort of folks want to know how much is available for new investments. So right now we've got of our 1.5 or our 3.7 that is capital under management, we've got about 12% that's available for new investment. And then I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit to one of the slides that I think is probably a little bit more interesting, is that our number of venture-backed companies. So we've got 106 VC-backed companies with an additional 80 companies that are supported only by angels. And I think that we have a graph here, which you can see, which breaks out the sectors that the sectors that companies or that folks are investing in by company. Sorry, I got a lot of words there for a minute, but one of the things that we've always been strong is life sciences, and we continue to be strong there, but we're also seeing that our investments in the technology sector are growing as well. And which I think that we're seeing also that there's a lot of investing in angel and pre-seed and technology as well, so we anticipate that will continue to grow. The next couple of slides just talk about angel investing in Michigan, and as mentioned earlier, last year, 2012, was our most successful year for angel investing, and there's a lot of really exciting initiatives going on right now with the Michigan Angel Network and other things that I think that we will continue to see our angel investing grow.
Okay. Now, explain to me, if you can, I'm an entrepreneur and I've got an idea and a business plan. When do I go to the angel group, and when would I, go to somebody, who's the venture capital?
Sure. The venture capital funding tends to come a little bit later. So angel angel financing, certainly it tends to be earlier in the process. So, when we have, because a lot of times folks will ask us, I've got this great idea, I've got a business plan, how do I get venture capital funding? And we encourage folks, really, Michigan has got such a great ecosystem and resource space for entrepreneurs. So we encourage folks to work with the GLEQ. We encourage them to work with Ann Arbor Spark, Tech Town, the MEDC, on making sure that their business plan is strong, and then working with those folks to find out about all of the avenues for capital available to them.
Okay. Statewide, too, the MISBTDC.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Hard to say. Yeah. Michigan.
It's always bad to start naming names.
Yeah, I know. Small Business Technology Development Centers are around the state and are excellent at helping companies, make their business plan, get information for their business plan, and ask some tough questions. And they're certainly a go-to resource for just another set of eyes and ears, if nothing else.
Absolutely. No, they're absolutely phenomenal. They've been such a great resource for so many folks.
Well, what's the next big thing for your organization, Carrie?
I think that we're just continuing to grow and get this story out. We want to make sure that folks know that Michigan is a place that has a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs, and that they have, that the access to capital is here, that folks don't have to leave, they don't have to go to either of the coasts to start their businesses, that for entrepreneurs, we've got the dollars here that are available to them so that they can stay in Michigan and grow their companies.
Excellent. Well, Carrie, I appreciate your time, especially on a vacation day.
Oh, it's so fun. No, absolutely. Thrilled to talk with you.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate the work that you do, and you can see the results not only on your slides, but in the impact that you're having across the state. So we wish you the best, and maybe we'll see you at GLEQ event one of these days.
Oh, I look forward to it. I look forward to it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.